Hey there guys, Chris Gamble from Customised here with the Home Tech Half Hour, episode 5. Coming to you live on Facebook, but from a very different location than normal. Today we are in Cardiff. I'm away for the weekend visiting family, but commitment to the show, I've decided to still do a live video today. So apologies for the delay. We went for a walk in the woods and it took a lot longer than we hoped, but like I said before, I'm away for the weekend with family, but still committed to the show to bring this video to you. So when I was driving over here, I thought about what I could talk about on the show without doing a spotlight on products. You know, I don't have the backdrop of my office to show you exactly what we would normally do. So as we were driving over, had a chat with my wife, and she said, well, why don't you show how you can control your home when you're away? So at the moment I'm 200 plus miles away from home, and you know, there may be a reason for me to check on something, whether it's a doorbell to speak to a delivery driver, maybe adjust the heating if I get a weather forecast that things are getting cold back home, or I want to switch off some lights or switch on some lights to show that somebody's home. So in a moment I'm going to spin the camera around, focus in on my iPad and just show you some of the apps that I use for logging into our office and my home. So I'm going to show you a bit of both and how I can toggle between two properties. And some of the apps I'm going to use will be the Apple Home app. If you're an iOS Apple user, then you may have seen that app and wondered what it is on your phone. I'm going to use the Ring app to view live view our doorbells at home and at our office. And I'll also look at the Philips Hue app to show you a different way of controlling lights only with Philips Hue. And finally I'll look at Logitech, their app for viewing the Logitech Circle cameras that we've got in our office. I'll also tackle a couple of questions that we've been asked this week, and finally wrap it all up with a tech tip. Now, before we go into the app, I'm just going to put a big disclaimer out there. Struggling with Wi-Fi in this house that I'm at, and I've set up a 4G hotspot from my phone to connect both devices, so if there's a slight delay, so be it, but let's see if we can still get access to the home and office by using some of the apps into the iPad. So let me focus in on I'm just going to adjust the camera, tilt it down and focus in on my iPad. So let's make some adjustments here. So if anybody's got any questions about what I'm going to do, please leave a comment during the live stream. Unfortunately I cannot zoom, so I think we're good like this though. I think we're good like this. So familiar layout of an iPad here. So I've got a few apps that I'm going to run through. The main one that I use for my connection to the office to check on lights, status of the heating, temperature readings, is I use the Apple Home app. So this one down here with the little yellow house, that's the Apple Home app, okay? So we can open up the app, and I've got a label here. In fact, I'm going to use this expensive pencil that I never ever use. So here we've got the name of the house, so we've called it the Experience Center, and that does play a part when I issue voice commands. If I want to ask, you know, maybe Siri the temperature in the Experience Center, or turn off all lights in the Experience Center, and I'm specifically putting that name in because I also have another property where I have Apple Home running. So here we've got my house, office, and a few other a test house that we use for testing products. But I'm going to stick to the Experience Centre. I got a little bit of feedback here saying media room lights are on. The office is 16 degrees, storeroom 17 degrees, and it says details. If I expand that, this is where video quality lets down. Facebook Live, sorry about this. So it's giving me a heads up on a few things there. So it's saying that the media room window lights are on, storeroom temperature sensor 17 degrees, kitchen 14 degrees, and the office at 16 degrees. Two of those temperature sensors are coming from Philips Hue motion sensors. So we're big fans at Customised of multifunctional products. If it's also a motion sensor but can provide some temperature feedback, that's win-win for me. I'm a big fan of multi-use products. And the final one from the office, 16 degrees, is coming from the thermostat, and it's showing that my heating is off. Now I've deliberately turned it off whilst I'm away. So if we come out of there, if I scroll down, I've got some scenes for the office. So all off is a scene that we use as we leave every day. Morning is a preset where we just press Logitech pop button as we arrive at the office, and it turns on 25 different Philips Hue devices. The lights come on throughout the office. And then we have also a scene called Movie, which we use for just in the media room, and it dims the light, changes the colour if we were doing a demonstration of a movie or some gaming on the big screen. And then I'm faced with two rows of tiles here, little icons, and it's things like temperature from around the space, different rooms, lights, the status of them, whether they're on or off. You'll see this one here is showing that it's on. If I press and hold it, this is where I can maybe adjust the brightness, and this is where video quality is really going to let me down badly, so bear with us guys. I do apologise if this isn't clear. Okay, so that by pressing and holding on any of the lights, it pulls up like a dimmer if it's a dimmable light, or it brings up a switch on off icon for turning a light on and off. This one's unique that it does also offer colour changing, and I can pull up a colour wheel, and because it's a Philips Hue colour changing LED strip, I can choose a different colour by dragging the pointer around the colour wheel. To do that colour change, I just accept that and press done. So these are giving me the status of favourite lights. I don't have to have every light in the house available here, but it's just showing me my favourite ones, which are, it may be in your home, it might be just the living room lights, maybe the kitchen lights, but you might omit some of the bedrooms, the bathroom, you know, and I also omit lights that are controlled by a sensor. I don't need to see the status of that because I know it's going to go off within 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, etc. if it's on a sensor. The Apple Home app also pulls in live feeds on Logitech Circle cameras. There are some other cameras as well that you can have a live view showing in the app. D-Link also make one called the Omna 180 HD camera, and that would show up as a mini picture within the app for a live view. We can also go specifically into a room. So here's the room we have for media room. Again, it's showing me that the media room light is on, but a few more things here. So this is where I can make changes to the Logitech pop button, which is a HomeKit accessory. But you can see here I could remotely turn on a couple of lights in the office, or initiate a scene with a single press. Press movie, and that's adjusted the brightness and turned different lights off. If I press all off, That's a whole broadcast command to every light except for one. We leave the window lights, which you can see this is an image we've taken of our office as a bit of a wallpaper behind the app. Our all off doesn't turn these off because I have these on a timer going off at 9 PM at night, just to give a bit of mood lighting to the front of our office. Okay, so again I can toggle through the rooms, different rooms, and there's various accessories in each of those rooms. The last tab is for automation, and I'll dive into that a lot more in another video or a YouTube video that we'll do specifically about Apple Home app and automating your home with it. So let's just have a look at questions. So JJ Cannon, can we see lights adjust with the Logitech camera? I'm going to do that, but I'm going to get a full screen. I'm going to use the Logitech app to see the changes. Okay, so let's roll into that, because I think we've covered how I would control lights. So let's turn on the media room lights, and let's make the window lights very bright, and let's put Anna's desk light on. Let's increase the brightness on that, and we'll put let's leave it like that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hop over to the Logitech Circle app. So this is a live stream of the office. It's all locked up, there's nobody there. We have an alarm system, okay. So I've turned on these lights, so I can see the ceiling lights, if it's not clear, but I can see here that the LED strips in the window are on, and Anna's desk light is on, okay. So if I go back to, and this is live, okay, so this is the Logitech Circle HomeKit compatible wireless full HD camera. Can be used indoor and outdoor, and if I've got multiple cameras I can toggle between media room and meeting room, but we'll stick to the meeting room, media room, sorry. So I'm going to jump back to Apple Home, and I'm going to turn off some lights, and we'll see if those changes have been reflected. So I'm going to turn off, just let this update, I'm going to turn off the ceiling lights, turn off Anna's desk, and turn off the window lights. Okay, so I'll let that, just make sure that commands go through. Jump back to the Logitech for a live view. So I can see Anna's desk light is off, ceiling lights off, and I know we're getting a lot of sunlight in. I'm missing the sunshine. I'm in Cardiff, the city of rain. So I can see it's a nice bright day in Norfolk. If I then do the reverse, turn some lights on, let this update. So I'm going to put the ceiling lights on and Anna's desk on, and we go back to the camera. There we go. So 200 miles between where I am now and our office. I'm able to control the lights, dim them up and down, and yeah, control the lights. Let's dive back to Apple Home, and I'll just show you how I can control the thermostat. So another question here, images below are not live, are they just screenshots? Yes, JJ, we have experienced an issue with Logitech Circle and Apple HomeKit. I'm not going to lie that technology is trouble free. We found intermittent Apple HomeKit performance with the Logitech Circle cameras in the Apple Home app. It worked perfectly up until iOS 11.2.5, and we just noticed a little bug in that. So we still speak to our clients to still retain the Logitech Circle app, and we've had no issues with this to date. But hey guys, this is technology. I I'm one of the first people to say that it's not 100% perfect, but there's always a way to still give you that live view. You know, these cameras are still available to view. It's nice that they're in the app, and normally it worked perfectly up until a recent Apple update. So out of our hands, that one. So let's go back to Apple Home, and I'm going to adjust the temperature very easily. So this icon here is my Honeywell Lyric T6 thermostat. If I press and hold, it comes up with a slider, and this slider allows me to adjust the set point, so I can bring it up. And if you can't see, it's the room temperature 16. I've asked it to heat to 23, and the light has gone orange to say that heating is on, you know, the boiler is on. If I adjust below the room temperature, so 15 degrees, just let this refresh. Remember, we're over a 4G connection. So the light has gone green. It's very difficult to see this through the quality of a live stream, but it's a heat to 15, room temperature 16, so green, boiler is off. Green for energy saving. This button down the bottom here, mode, allows me to physically turn the heating on or off. It's just a slider between on and off. And this icon is very similar, in fact identical to switching a light or a plug socket off that's not a dimmable light. If you wanted to turn an appliance off with a suitable Apple HomeKit accessory, you can, you know, do a simple slide on or off to make your adjustment. So let me dive over to an alternative camera. So we also show off Nest cameras. We're Nest Pros based in Norfolk. This is a reverse view of the office that also gives us motion detection, noise alerts, and with the Nest Cam, we're a big fan of it in the fact that we can schedule when the camera is on or off, that we can't currently do with the Logitech Circle. So an alternative view there of the lights. Let's use this view. Let's turn off those lights. Anna's desk. Let's just let it refresh. Anna's desk, media room ceiling lights. Let's go back to Nest. Let the video refresh. And there we go. So I can see here Anna's desk light has gone off, and all the ceiling lights have also turned off as well. Now I'm going to show you one other app. If you're not an Apple Home user and you use maybe Android, or you're just not wanting to use Apple Home for whatever reason, and you have Philips Hue lights, you can still use, in fact this connection is actually to my home, so this is showing, I have Philips Hue lights at home. I'm really pleased with them. Great family friendly lighting system. I've got a connection to my home. I could, at the moment I can see that all the lights are off at home, but if I wanted to turn the utility room light on, you know, turn on or off, adjust the brightness, and at home my utility light will be on. If I turn it off, I've also got some scenes for the utility, which I do use. I do use these scenes actually for, we have a door contact on our kitchen door. When I open the door and it's before sunset, then the light will not come on at all. There's adequate natural light in our utility room. After sunset, the light will come on bright, okay? And then after 10 p.m, the light will come on dimmed, and will remain like that until sunrise, and there's enough natural light for the light not to need to come on. So that's within Philips Hue. I do use these presets. Another example, we have a motion sensor in our hallway. If you walk out there during the day and there's enough natural light, then the light doesn't come on at all, even though it detects motion. When we step out into the hallway a little bit later in the evening, but before anybody's bedtime, the light comes on. We've got it coming on dimmed because it's a small corridor, we don't need it ultra bright. However, after kids are in bed, you know, my wife and I are in bed, and we go out into that hallway to maybe visit the bathroom, it comes on night light, which is almost like, I think it's like 1 or 2% brightness out of the full scale of brightness. Whereas dimmed, and you can adjust these, dimmed is, you know, 20 to 30%, bright is 100%. You know, so the ability to just toggle between 3 different brightness levels, and a sensor being intelligent enough to know time of day, the natural light brightness in the space. This is that, for me, that's home automation, but done very inexpensively, easy to manage. You do not need professional intervention to make the changes to that. We heavily train our clients that they can make these adjustments themselves. So yeah, Philips Hue, again, another way to remotely control lights. We've also got some routines in here, so things like home and away, which uses geolocation, so it knows where you are and turns lights on and off depending on your distance away from home. And we've got some morning routines, bedtime routines, and timers. So if you do buy Philips Hue lights, do spend a bit of time getting to know the app. So let me just think if there's any other apps that we would... Don't be put off by all these apps I've got on my phone. I'm heavy on apps for different things that we use for customers. I think the apps that I've used there have covered the typical. In fact, that just popped up there. Hold on 1 second. So I just got a notification there that it said motion detected in the office. Your camera noticed some activity. So this is the kind of pop-up you might get when you're away from home. So instantly, I open up that notification, it instantly brings me to the app. Now, I often expect to get some notification alerts from the office because we've got a window on a busy high street, and we also get some alerts of movement or motion when maybe time of day, when the sunlight's changing or there's a bit of reflection coming in the window. We do get that, but that alert's probably been triggered by somebody right at the window. You know, I could recall the footage later and look back to see if it was anything, but getting that notification, I'm instantly able to go straight to the camera that alerted me, and you know, it's just that heads up, that peace of mind that you can anytime tune into your cameras at home. I've just realised there's one more app that I do want to show you. So Ring, we've talked about on the show before. Again, pop up there just saying I have an update. So let's go to the office. Live view. Fingers crossed. There we go. So this is our front door of our office. I'm able to speak to anybody that comes to the office whilst we're away. I can live view it if I heard anything, or I can get a motion alert if somebody is at the office. Okay, so that's Ring and the ability for me to see what's happening in the external of my property, the front door, or if I had Ring cameras on other parts of the building, then I could easily check on that using my smartphone or tablet. Right, so let me just flip the camera back to my ugly mug. Hold on a second. Okay. Right, just gonna tee that up. Okay. Right, I did think about doing Q&A. I'm just going to emphasize something that I seem to talk about every week. Because it crops up every week when I'm out on my day job. People not wiring new builds, renovation projects, remodeling of rooms, not putting in the correct wiring. There's there's only one way to get around this. Speak to a home technology professional. Find a smart home expert in your area, and if you need help finding them, Google search will definitely crop somebody up. Go to the CEDIA Find a Member website and put in your location and it will pull somebody up. Press your electrician hard for him to provide the information you need. Your electrician is more than skilled enough to provide all your smart home requirements as well. If though he feels it's outside of his skill set, ask if he's worked with anyone that's done any smart home systems or home automation or home cinema projects that he's worked on in the past. He will know someone. There are people on your doorstep that are professionals at dealing with home technology. And this week we came across several projects where the wiring just hadn't been done correct. They'd gone real old school, single coax to the television, BT connection coming in at some random part of the house that's not is not going to help you with getting Wi-Fi around the home or distributing connections to smart TVs and music systems and security systems. If the BT hub has to live in a bedroom, how's that suitable for modern streaming services and signal coverage for your mobile device? So again, I'm just going to say this every week. If you're having a project, new build, renovation, and you want some of the nice things like lighting systems, like music systems, like better, smart security systems, find a home technology professional. They ain't going to bite you. It's going to be somebody like me who's going to just give you the truth, the home tech truth. So, Q&A. That's it, rant over. I'm going to start wrapping up the show now. Final thing, tech tip. Get your mobile device in order. Update the apps, update the operating system. Do the updates that are needed. There's always a reason for it. It's normally security. It's normally great new features to have. Get your apps in order as well. Start putting them in folders. Don't have them all over the place. I have so many customers that, I can never find this app. Well, put it into a folder, call it Smart Home, and have Ring, Nest, Apple Home, Logitech Circle, put them all in one folder. The ones you use the most, put them on the bottom bar of your app, your tablet or smartphone. Get your apps in order, get your devices in order. It's only going to make the experience even better, and you're going to get all the features that these great companies like Sonos, Nest, Ring, and Philips are releasing all the time. That's it. Remotely controlling my office and home, 200 miles from my premises. I'm going to go back and have some lunch now with my family. I want questions. I want you to ask Customised. Don't be afraid to ask questions about your renovation project, your remodeling of a room. What cables do I put where? What devices work with what? That's the kind of questions that we're here to answer for you, free of charge. Direct messages, instant messages, whatever your method is to get in touch with us. I've been Chris Gamble. That was episode 5 of the Home Tech Half Hour. Thank you everyone that tuned in live and for all the comments. And I'll catch up with you next Saturday back in the office. Take care.